Okay, Grandma's Recipe Box, Block of the Month, Waldorf Salad, quilt setting. If you did this one of our 3 choices, then you have a different setting from the others. They're all 3 different. So the fun thing about this is it's just all mixed up colors, real scrappy looking, and lots of fun color. So the one thing I wanted to point out with these is, might look a little complicated if you're a beginner, but it's really not. These blocks have borders put all around them. So what you'll do is you'll border each block, and it will end up being a 16-inch block instead of your 12-inch. And then you will just sew the 3 bordered blocks together into a row, so there's no sashing in here. Those are actually borders around the blocks. It has the effect of having a double sashing. That's okay, but they're made with borders. So the thing I suggest on the borders is when you have your strips, you'll sew 2 strips to 2 opposite sides here, and then the other 2 strips you're going to sew a little square on the end of each of it. So after you sew the sides on, then you're going to sew the other ends on with the squares, and that will make your block. So what I did was, when I cut my strips, and I'll talk to you about that pretty soon, when I cut my strips, I sewed 2 different colors on opposite sides of all the blocks. Then I took all my other strips and sewed squares to the ends that were contrasting colors, so it wasn't the same thing. Then I laid out all my blocks and then all my little sashing strips. Laid all my blocks out on the floor. If you have a design wall or a big table, that's even better. And then I took all these little strips with the squares on the ends and placed them around as they looked pleasing in the whole arrangement. So I tried to avoid having 2 of the same print right next to each other. So that was very helpful. If you want to just sew them on and just wing it, that's okay, but you might end up with a concentration of one print in an area, and that might really stand out, and I like to spread it all out. Okay, so after that's done, you're just going to sew on a first border of a white that will separate your colors of the border, and then this outer border has 4 different colors in it. And then the red, Bella Cherry Red, for the binding, which coordinates very well with the reds that are in the quilt, and it helps them to pop out a little bit too. Okay, the finishing kit will look like this, and you will receive 12 prints for all the sashing. So these will be cut into 2.5-inch strips. Pieces that we included are with the fabric strips. Like I said, you'll just cut 2.5-inch strips all the way across, and then you will cut those into 12.5-inch rectangles. So there are 12 different colors in there to do that. Then included in here, don't get this mixed up with that, these are a little bit different cuts. These are your border strips, and these are about 3/8 yard, I think. And you will cut 2 border strips out of these to put on the 4 sides of the quilt. So you also have included in here your white for the border and then the red for the binding. You will not have a finishing pattern in your finishing kit. The reason is that we have included it in your monthly, your August monthly kit. That is because everyone who participates receives a pattern to do this. Even if you don't get a kit, you still receive a pattern. And if you have any questions, just be sure to let us know. But this was a lot of fun to put together.